All right, here we are, guys. All right, thank you for joining in with a live broadcast here. This is the Locker Room. I'm Big Matt and Todd Show. Appreciate you taking some time out of your day there later this evening. Guys, it's been so wild today. I've just now, time to catch my breath. We're going to go through a few things such as transfer portal stuff, and we can talk about a few of the coaches as well. Whatever you're looking forward to, go online there in the chat box and comment. Tell me what you think about stuff, or maybe questions you have, or maybe I've got a question I need answered. Right now, we'll start off with this. Transfer portal QB rankings from Ward, Gabriel, Spencer, Rattler, all the top players still kind of available. Of course, we know now Quinn Ayers, he committed to Texas. He give Coach Sark, he'll be his new signal caller coming in next year. Despite the top quarterback in the portal coming out of Ohio State, there's still a lot of talented people out there remaining that's still uncommitted until early in the spring period. So there are more than a dozen top-end quarterbacks starting experience to be available as of today, this afternoon now, breaking on this. The Slavis kid from USC is going to be, looks like he's going to be Texas A&M with Zach Calzada becoming the latest player to reveal transfer intentions. Some of this stuff, it is kind of confusing to me also. I don't understand some of the moving around so much. I don't know if it's coaching things, if it's play calling, as in this next big commitment. Of course, everybody, we already kind of know about Bo Nix. We talked about it late last night. It come out. So that's on the board right there. Bo Nix announced, of course, yesterday that he was going to be leaving. So there's another one on the board. Transfer portal has been seen. Guys, I heard Josh Pate say, I don't even know what day it is, Harley. I think it was yesterday or maybe this morning, watching him. There's over 1,000 kids in the transfer portal right now. It's like Dorothy looking for a ride home. You know, everybody's trying to find that special place. Everybody's trying to get behind the guy behind the curtain and find out what they're supposed to be doing. I don't know why there's so many kids moving around. With the coaches moving around, I guess that can have something to do with it. So let's carry on here. Tank Bigsby, we're not, still not sure as of late. I'm fixing to go on here on Twitter in just a second. I will check. There is 1,000 kids over still left. Some of the top-ranking kids that officially made their move to the transfer portal and the latest from their next move. Things are being updated. It's wild. One of the top quarterbacks in the FCS ranks over the past 2 seasons. He'd visited Ole Miss over the weekend to see what the Rebels coaching staff Lane Kiffin had to offer. According to Hummer, Ward was quickly become among the most sought-after single callers in the transfer portal. So Ward has reported offers from Indiana, North Texas, and Houston. Oh, and while I'm on Indiana, before I forget, Shivers from Auburn, he's gone. He's going to be at Indiana. A lot of this stuff you may already have heard about some, so just bear with me. This stuff is coming in and going out so fast. It is hard to keep up with. Gabriel stepped up as UFC's quarterback in year one. A devastating injury to the former Mackenzie Milton that broke out during the 2019 season after beating out the Notre Dame quarterback Brandon Wybush in the win job in 2020 of this season. Gabriel finished 3,500 yards and 32 touchdowns. It's like he had a 60% completion rate, 72 rushing yards. Prior to the injuries, he has fell under a new offense director by Gus Malzahn, talking about UCF. Of another statistically dominant campaign, Gabriel finished his UCF career with 8,000 yards, 70 touchdowns, interceptions, and percentages. So it looks like Oklahoma, going here to Oklahoma preseasons, Heisman frontrunners. Caleb Williams, halfway through the season, we know because of Rattler, he's leaving. Possible destinations for Rattler include Arizona State, Ole Miss, A&M, and LSU. According to Hummer, this is your 24/7 guy. South Carolina could also be in the mix, given Shane Beamer's relationship with Rattler during his time with the Sooners coaching staff. That's pretty interesting. Max Johnson has entered the transfer portal earlier this month. doing so minutes before his brother Jake Johnson had decommitted from LSU as one of the Jules program's 2022 recruiting class. A package deal could be in the works based on family ties. Now, the Slavis kid had formerly been at USC. He'd be transferring at 3 years starter for the Trojans and threw 7,500 yards and 58 touchdowns. Expected to be a graduate transfer like Bo Nix. True freshman Jackson Dart assumed the reins and the position following the neck injury suffered by Slavis during week 3. Wow, this is crazy. Let's see, the other guy here, LSU's transfer. Brandon was one of the ACC's first transfer portal kids, which he transferred back earlier in the time. And, of course, we already know about Bo Nix transferring now. Let's speak a little bit on that. We'll go in and say his dad, supposedly, what my understanding is, he's taking the job as an offensive coach at Troy, since Troy's got a new job, and his dad and his little brother were at Phoenix City, and they just lost out in actually they didn't lose. Well, they lost on the field. Thompson had beat them, but Thompson had to forfeit their state championship because of ineligible player or something like that. Also, Bo had said quote, "I made so many decisions for Auburn and know it's time to do what's best for me. It's time that I move on to the next chapter in my life. To reach further goals, I've decided it's best to be a grad transfer and find a new start somewhere else. I make this decision with a heavy heart, a lot of growing pains. A wise man once told me that to be great, you have to take risk." There's lots and lots of truth to that. Now, as we continue on here, let's move back over here. The only quarterback to beat Alabama this year, like we mentioned a while ago about Calzada, he was thrust into the starting role back in September. Quarterback one Hayes King. Calzada took the social media shortly after reports of his transfer portal decision began to pour in today. He finished 2021 season, 2,100 yards passing and whatnot. That coming out against Mississippi State back in 1. So those are some of the guys, and these are just some of them. Guys, there's kids moving all over the place. Now, we'll talk about some top-ranking kids that's coming out of high school. Cade Klumbernick from Austin, Texas. Of course, he's from Westlake High. Let's go into that and see what you think about that. He's a 5-star kid, number 18 overall. He is committed to Clemson. They talk about how much they like his height and that kind of stuff. Going to be a good player, natural playmaker whose function and athleticism also for scrambling ability that leads to chunk yardage or accurate throws while on the move. And he is, 6'2.5", 186, and I'm sure Weight Room will put some things on add to him. Let's see, Connor Weigan from Cypress, Texas, plays at Bridgeland High, 6'2", 208. He's going to be going to A&M. Ty Simpson plays Martin, Tennessee, plays at Westview High. Recruitment, he's committed to Alabama. Excellent dual threat quarterback who's one of the best in the year's class, extending plays and making something happen out of the pocket. Won't wow you with his arm strength, but it's functional and he can make it all the throws on the field. Natural feel in the pocket, sense of pressure, and does a great job in scrambling. Highly intelligent quarterback who should have no problems picking up the college playbook. All right, so Alabama fans, that's something good to hear. I've seen him back, I think during the year we had looked at him earlier, Ty Simpson. I didn't know if he was finally committed, but I actually looked into some of his high school playing, and he has a pretty tough schedule. Let's see, we'll move on here to LSU commit, a 5-star quarterback from Lafayette, Louisiana, St. Thomas More. His name's Walker Howard, 6'1", 195. He's an adequate frame. Being 6'1", 195, it's like he'd be pretty stout. Earlier in his career, he's run 4.7 40s and he run a 4.4 shuttle. Very accurate in the pocket, steps into his throws and gets great zip on the ball. Those are, well, with everybody moving around so much, you just never know what's going to happen. Rayburn County High, we know about this kid. Gunner Stockton. He's going to be a 4-star. He's committed to Georgia. He's a thick-built player with average height for the position. He's a better athlete than one would think. His ability to make plays in the pocket when the rush breaks down by using his feel and presence for where the rush is coming from and how he needs to buy time. Very good stuff here. Gators have some guys coming in. Got another one headed to Missouri. And let's go in and talk about, let's go in right here. Let's talk about some commits to Alabama real quick. We'll go through some of them. Now, like I said, some of you already know some of these, and we'll talk about them. Jamari Alexander, he's from Alabaster, played at Thompson, of course. Now, he's committed back in July. He's going to be a 5-star. Let's see. He's a big-time edge rusher. 6'2", 235. Ty Simpson, we just mentioned him. From Tennessee, we'd looked at him back on one of our earlier shows. And if you want to tune in with us, guys, you can go tune in on Sunday nights here on YouTube. We usually go live around 6 o'clock. Ty Simpson, quarterback, he's been committed since February. Isaiah Bond. Now, this kid here committed today. I watched them play. Buford won their state championship over in Georgia. I think Buford is 4A. 4 or 5A. I watched him play. He broke his leg. Okay, here's what had happened. He had been committed to Alabama at one time, and he broke his leg. It didn't say that Alabama dropped him, so that's not what we kind of assumed. It just said he had looked like he was going to Georgia Tech. Now, Isaiah Bond, he plays there at Buford, as I just mentioned. He's like 5'10". He says 175. I'm telling you, he don't look like 175 to me. He looks about like 195. Very strong lower body. It says right here that he had also 4'7", 40, 4'3" in the shuttle, 32-inch vertical. He's adequate size for his position. He poses good potential to add additional weight to his frame, which I'm sure he will. Plays with physicality and defensive decisiveness on the defense and special teams. He is a football player. Okay, let's continue on here. Dynamic speed player that can add value in multiple phases of the game, has the ability to be highly utilized in vertical and horizontal pass game. 1, 2, 3. I'm trying to see what A he is. 6'8". All right, in the 100 meter, he run a 10.5 in the 100 meter. Telling you, this kid's very special. Speed is definitely, speed is, they got him at 10 for speed, and they have him at explosiveness 9, his versatility 8, athleticism 8, ball skills, change direction, size 6. I'm telling you, now, you can definitely notice his speed, but guys, I'm telling you, I watched this kid play, and I put out just immediately. You can go over and find us on Facebook, The Matt and Todd Show. You can find us here on YouTube, of course, and on Twitter. Look under Big Matt. You can go find me and share a lot of news stuff over there on Twitter today. I posted during the game, somebody please go get this guy an offer. He is fantastic. So I'm excited to see him come in. And it's going to be, we're going to see how wide open these positions are going to be, because you just never know what's going to happen. You just never understand what may happen or how it may go down, and somebody's leaving or somebody's transferring or another position coaches are leaving and that kind of thing. So we're excited about him. Isaiah Bond came in a couple of days ago. Now let's move over here to Auburn. All right. Coach Harson's going to be doing a good job now. I know they're kind of down on him right now. Auburn seems like they're having a parallel kind of moment. They're just not had a good week. Your quarterback leaves. I mean, he was like the savior down there. He both played with a lot of heart, and sure, he wasn't great, but I thought he did a good job. I thought he caught too much slack. So, with that being said, the Tide, they're going to look up because the Tide has changed, no pun intended. Austin Asbury, he's committed today. He's a cornerback, big-time football player. He's right down there out of Baton Rouge. Don't know how Coach Kelly let him get away. They got him listed like as a 4-star, but if you go and watch the kid play, he don't play like a 4-star at all. He plays like a 5-star. This kid is exceptional. He's over 6 foot tall. They got him listed at 6 foot. I think he's a little over 6 foot. And if he 195, he's 200. I'm telling you, his size and his athletic ability to play that position is something else, man. He's just going to be an explosive player for Auburn. Can't wait to see him suit up down there and play. Let's go through a few of their couple other stars. Caden Story, of course, he played at Lynette, 6'4", 264, defensive lineman. Auburn's trying to beef up there. Holden Garner, he played at Savannah, Georgia over there. He committed back in February. Now, you know, some of these commits coming in and out may change or they may not. Now, I just seen a while ago on Twitter where the Gilbert kid, he's come today. Now, he's a safety. He's from Palm Coast, Florida. He's really going to make a lot of difference. He has played spring season at Hutchinson CC and earned all KJ CCC honorable mention honors after totaling 12 tackles, 5 pass breakups, and 2 interceptions, and 7 games for the Blue Dragons. 2020, he entered the NCAA transfer portal in November and committed this to Hutchinson Community College back in December. Now he's going to be playing it over, and he's got a lot of play time. He's a good player. You can go find him on Twitter or something. He says he's 100% committed. He's ready to go play. This kid could really be a difference maker for Auburn. And we're talking about Marquise Gilbert. And 6'2", 180 is how they got him listed over here. Some of these weights and stuff, I think they just kind of guess. I think he's a little bigger now. He looks more like a 190. But, you know, who's counting? Let's go over and take a look at Georgia. See what they got going on. As of right now, they're nationally ranked number 2 in recruiting, 2 in the SEC. Let's see. Back earlier in the season, probably one of their biggest commits is the Malachi Starks. He's just listed as an athlete. This kid is over from Jefferson, Georgia. We caught him back earlier in the year, and he's really easy to find. You can go find him on Huddle and check out some of his stuff. He's been committed to Georgia for a little while. I know they're going to be excited about him coming in playing. He's definitely a first-round projection kind of guy. His comparison is Patrick Queen, which plays for the Ravens. He owns a workable frame. He has some length in his arms, hovering right around 200 pounds, but should be able to bulk up once getting into college and working out. He's a dynamic two-way player that gets the job done as a triple option quarterback, but projects as a box safety or off-ball linebacker at the next level. We'll see how he's going to move in here and get things done. It's like they got a kid from IMG. He's committed back during October. Bear Alexander, ready to be able to see him play over there at Georgia. See how that's going to work out for him. Now, back to the first month, Trey West, defensive lineman. This guy's really going to be a great addition coming in there and play at Georgia because they're going to lose some defensive players. Also back first month, Darius Smith, another edge rusher, played right over there at Baxley, Georgia. And that's about most of those right there. So, anyway, let's go back through here and drop out a little bit of more information, and we're going to figure out what everybody has. Tank Bigsby's moving here. You know, he was recruited heavily by Georgia, so if he winds up going to Georgia, that could be something. That could be something worth looking into. Keep on that. Yesterday, Hendon Hooker from Tennessee announced that he'll be returning to Tennessee. So we can all put that aside. We've already talked about Quinn Irwin coming to Texas, left Ohio State. Nick Evers. Evers is going to be committed to Oklahoma. I'd kept an eye on him back earlier in the day. Texas A&M freshman defensive back Norwood has entered the transfer portal as of earlier today. And we talked about Slavas entered the transfer portal also, leaving USC. And we already talked about Calzada. Now, here was something interesting. The linebacker, Marquise Bembray, he's going to leave Kentucky. Guys, Kentucky's, let's see here. Let me check out some information here on my breaking news right here coming across the desk. Yeah. This guy recorded a lot of tackles. NCAA. Let's take a look at the Big Ten, because Michigan is going to be playing Georgia. I think they could play them a really good game. Now, commitment-wise right now, looks like Michigan's 9 in the country. I don't think they have any. They had a guy come in this month, Zeke Berry, a safety. He's from California. And that's about some of the most recent ones. First of the month, Ethan Burke. Also, he's from Austin, Texas. He is a edge rusher extraordinaire, 6'7", 225. What about that, guys? And, well, this guy come in last year. So, that's some of Michigan's, some news from them and what they got going on. Why don't we talk about, we could go over here and talk about some of the bowl games, since we did a big bowl game special. But, we could go through this and talk about Alabama-Cincinnati. Now, before we get off, and we'll let everybody get off here. Alabama-Cincinnati, yeah. Does Cincinnati have a chance? Of course they do. They're a quality program. They're not terrible. They have good players. Now they don't recruit like Bama. I mean, that's what we just said. Alabama looks like they're number one. I mean, where's Cincinnati going to be at? So definitely they're not going to be getting the recruits that Alabama does. But they play good defense, and sometimes it's just about matchups and how guys play each other. It's kind of like boxing. That's why Georgia and Alabama, how they kind of matched up, it was just different. The offensive play up on the front of the line, just the way it matched up turned out better for Alabama. The quarterback play was definitely part of it. But we do know one thing. Football is always about one thing. It's always about line play. How good are you guys up front? And when you go back in here and start looking at these recruiting lists guys, Alabama's recruiting top offensive linemen around the nation, and that's where the game is won and lost at. I don't see Cincinnati recruiting no top linemen. Can they keep it interesting and make it close? Sure, absolutely they could. Now, on the other hand, if you want to look at Michigan and Georgia, how they match up, now we could talk about up front. You could talk about linemen and how line play is, and we just looked at some Michigan guys coming in. They recruit defensive guys. Jim Harbaugh knows what it takes to win football games and to be competitive on that level. I mean, I think personally he caught Ohio State on a little bit of a sleeper year this year. Getting past them, it was good timing. He had a decent enough team to go in there and make a difference against the Ohio State team. They're not bad, but they're probably just not as good as they have been in the past. So I think Michigan could have a chance. May not be terribly close, but you just never know. And it's about matchups, and that's what it's always about. So anyway, we'll get off here. I just wanted to come on really and just talk the news about some of these guys transferring, just kind of how things are. So anyway, all right, we talked about Alabama kids. some of their recruitments, some early recruitments they had today. Georgia had a few big recruitments. Talked about those. Auburn had some good recruitments come in today also. Today's just Monday, guys, so I'll be back on tomorrow, and we'll go back through some of this again, and there'll be more kids transferring. So now as these kids are coming in and you recruited them during the school year, well, you didn't need to recruit this one position because you had one or two at that spot. Well, now they've left, and you got a defensive back coming in, but your defensive lineman left. So now it's crazy. It's just it's been a wild day, so I'm going to give it a rest and rest my eyes too. We've been back and forth. Guys, go on our Facebook. You can find us on there, The Matt and Todd Show. Find us on Twitter, Big Matt 1977. And I'm trying to see, there's like 6 new tweets come up on there now. Because it's just constantly changing. There's, as soon as I turn this mic off, like yesterday, we made a show, and we go on live from 6 to 7, 15, 7:20. We used to do an hour and a half. Time we got off the show, I go in there and sit down and start watching a little bit of Yellowstone. After it goes off, I'm trying not to stay on my phone during it. So I pick my phone up like one time during a commercial break late. People talking about Bo Nix leaving. I'm like, what are you talking about? Well, 9, 10 o'clock later on, it's done deal. And then late that night, we're hearing, well, Tank's leaving too. Well, Shearer's going to Indiana. Well, this coach is leaving. He's going up there to – you just can't even hardly keep up. So if you want to stay up on it, I try to do as good a job as anybody does. I'm telling you, go over on Twitter at Big Matt 1977, or you can go over to our Facebook page, The Matt and Todd Show, and I throw stuff up on there all the time. It's just crazy. I don't know what else to say. All right, guys, I'm going to get off here. Keep your heads clear and your hearts full of God as always, and I'll probably be back on tomorrow night. So stay tuned for another Locker Room. All right, peace.